Hello and welcome to our short presentation on applying to university. My name is Bernadette. I'm the Marketing Coordinator based at our Port Macquarie campus, and today with me I've got one of our wonderful students, Gabby. Say hi, Gabby.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Gabby and I'm in my first year of a Master of Communication.
Fantastic. So you're wondering about applying to university. How do you go about it? So anyone coming from school, so from year 12 into university, needs to apply to Charles Sturt through their university admission centre. So in New South Wales, that's called UAC, and in Victoria, it's VTAC. So you need to put in an application to these, and then once you have your application open, you can then start putting your preferences for university in. So it is important to find out when you're applying to a course what the requirements for entry are. So one of those may be an ATAR or equivalent, but there might also be some other requirements that you might need to undertake in order to get into a course. Gabby, what did you apply for, and did you have any extra requirements?
Yeah, so my undergraduate degree was a Bachelor of Creative Arts and Design in graphic design. When I applied, there was no requirement, but I know they're looking at bringing in like portfolios, which is something to consider. But again, if you're applying for something like medicine or dentistry, you might have an exam that you have to sit. Again, with engineering and some other courses, there might be an external form or extra form that you have to fill out. So just make sure that you're aware of those and you ask if you're not sure.
Absolutely. So then once you've checked out your requirements, you can start putting your preferences in order that you want to do them. So you put at number one your dream course, the course you most want to do. Don't worry about the ATAR requirement. Hopefully you'll get it and you'll be fine. But at least if you have it at number one, you have that opportunity and that chance. And then after that, you'll put your second, third, fourth, fifth. So for New South Wales, 5 preferences. For VTAC, there's 8. And you'll put your preferences in an order. So you might have some good courses that are similar to the one you like, but maybe have a lower entry requirement, or are not quite the same as what you want to do, but maybe fairly similar, so that later you can then transfer into your dream course. And then down the bottom, you might put what we call as our pathway courses. So at Charles Sturt University, that's called the Diploma of General Studies, a 1-year course that at the end guarantees you entry into most of our courses. It's a good one to have down the end of your list. You can always start making these plans by looking at what's available at the university, what the requirements are, and put a little plan together to make it the best plan for you. Okay, so if you're looking to go to university and you're a bit worried about your ATAR, do know though that we try and make it as best we can for you, and we give you some adjustment factors on top of your ATAR so that your selection rank can go up a little bit. So if you're a regional student, for example, we give 5 regional adjustment factors to students from those areas. So an example might be that you need a 70 ATAR to get into your, or a 70 selection rank to get into your degree. You may get a 67 ATAR, but because you're a regional student, may get 5 extra points, which takes you to 72 selection rank, and that is enough to then get you into the degree. There are also selection rank adjustments, so extra points that you can get on top of your ATAR. If you've had to deal with setbacks during your school, you can apply for the EAS scheme, so that's the Equity Access Scheme, and this is something you'll do together with your school, who can confirm that you've had those setbacks, so that you can be considered as having some extra bonus points for having to deal with those during your Year 12 year. Okay, Gabby, you've heard of prerequisites and assumed knowledge, haven't you?
Yeah.
You want to tell everyone a little bit about them?
Yeah, sure. So with the prerequisites, for example, at Charles Sturt University, we don't overly have a lot of courses that use this, but prerequisites are pretty much just saying if you are to study something like medicine, you must have studied some sort of science-based subject while you're at high school. But again, we don't really have many of those. We focus more on assumed knowledge. So again, that's something like if you're looking to study maybe nursing or paramedics, something that's health related, we're going to say that it's going to be easier if you have studied science or biology during high school. And again, there are other ones. If you're studying art or music, you might have done some creative subjects. So make sure that you check out under all of the application details to see if there are any assumed knowledges for the courses that you're interested in. And if there are those concerns, you can also do our StudyLink programs. And we'll talk more about those in a different section, but StudyLink pretty much just boosts your knowledge around something that you're unsure about or that you might want to develop your skills further. It might be English, it might be statistics, it might be anatomy, and they're short and free courses that you can sign up for as well.
Yeah, so just know that when you're going to apply to Charles Sturt University, if you haven't done a particular subject, it's not going to block you from doing that degree. You can certainly come in and you'll be able to catch up with the knowledge and work through the study. So assumed knowledge is what we look at. They're just advice that this would be good to learn if you do have that opportunity. So when you're at year 10 and you're looking at selecting your subjects, don't panic too much about if I don't do a subject, I won't be able to get into a degree. With Charles Sturt University, as I said, if you haven't done the subject, you can still get in. What I think is most important for students when they're selecting their subjects is to pick subjects that they're going to enjoy or that they know they're good at and they know they can do well at. And if you're doing subjects that you enjoy and that you do well and you find easy, then you're going to get good results, and then it will convert into a really good ATAR for you. So that's the most important thing, is to think about what you're good at and what you enjoy and take those subjects, because hopefully too, by doing that, you're going to lead onto a course that is going to follow on from those subjects that you enjoy and that you're good at, and can lead you to a dream career where work doesn't even feel like work, it feels like play. So think about that, doing subjects that you enjoy rather than subjects that are going to scale well or that you think are important for a certain degree. You can always, if you do decide to do a degree, for example, that has science and you haven't done science, you can always catch up with those study link programs or even within the degree. Certainly if you know you want to go into a science area, I would suggest doing a science, but if you don't know or you change your mind between your time in year 10 and when you get to pick your uni, don't panic about it, it's really not important. Okay, English as a subject is one thing. At year 12, you've got certain subjects you can do in English, but when it opens up to university, the world is much bigger. Gabby, do you want to tell us a bit about this? I think you've even had experience with this yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose you probably all think that English is English and there's nothing more than that. But when you come to university, as Bernadette said, it's so much more than that. You can just see some of the subjects that are listed there at university, related to English. You've got things like screenwriting, journalism, writing for publication, children's literature. And myself, I'm actually looking at doing a couple of these. I've done strategic communication in my undergraduate degree, and I'm looking at things like crisis communication now, moving into my postgraduate, which is actually very interesting. And again, is English.
Excellent. So it's important to know, as a year 10 student picking subjects, to go with what you love and what you enjoy, and you can see that it will open up into different things once you get to university. If you're in year 12 now and you're wanting to apply for university, just a reminder to apply through UAC or VTAC for any courses that are on campus with Charles Sturt University. But if you are wanting to do one of our many online courses, you don't need to go through UAC or VTAC. In fact, they don't look after the online courses. You can come direct to our website and apply for our online courses there. And we have a huge range of online courses available. Many of our courses can be done either on campus or online, and some of our courses are online only. And the fantastic thing is that whether you choose one or the other, the support is fantastic no matter which way you go at Charles Sturt University. So we look forward to seeing you hopefully in the near future.